In this session, we're going to look at three new object types. Object types of a brand new breed, the container. A container is an object that can contain other objects. So the two that we're going to look at most heavily are the list and the set. If you look at the list and the set, you can see that they are notated differently. We'll look at each one separately. In this introduction, I just want to talk about why we're going to use these containers and why they're important. But what we have here in X and Y are a list and a set, and this is how they're notated when they're initialized. When we create a list of values, we're given the opportunity to analyze the data in a more flexible way, in a more extensive way, than we did when we were just getting a sum and a count of values. Of course, you remember that last week we looped through tabular data. We pulled out a series of values that were interesting to us, that is the market ref values for a particular year. And then we summarized that data by counting the number of values there were, as well as summing them up. But when we build a list of values, and that's what we're going to do in this week, we're given the opportunity to do a lot more with the values. In other words, a list of values will allow us to work with a collection of all the values that were found, rather than create a sum which simply adds them all up, and then there's no way really to derive additional information from the data. With a list of values, we'll first be able to do a count, a sum, and an average, and that's what you can do with a list. We'll also look at how we can get the highest value or the lowest value in a list. We'll see how we can get the top 5 values or the bottom 5 values in a list. We'll also be able to get the median value from a list. And we'll have to get that median value from a sorted list. So we'll also be able to sort the values and get the median value from a list of values. So what we can do with a list goes far beyond what we might have been able to do just by summing and counting. And so in this session, we're going to loop through tabular data, build up a list, and then derive the information that you're seeing here from the list. When we look at a set is a different sort of container, and we'll talk about it in detail. But a set of values allows us to check membership. Membership means, is there a value that is equal to one of the values in this collection? So if we collect a set of values and we want to see, for example, if the value is represented in the data set, that's the first thing we can do. Another thing we could do is see if we can get a unique set of values that occur in a data set. And we'll explain this all as we go forward. And then finally, we can also check to see and see if we want to apply a whitelist or a blacklist to validate a value. That may not be entirely clear. We'll go over each of these ideas one by one as we look at the two containers and what it is possible to do with each. So basically, if we have a list as we do on line 3, and this list contains some values that we want to summarize in these different ways, the first thing we can do is get the count, the sum, or the average, as we're doing in these 3 lines here. We can quickly and easily derive the maximum and minimum value from a list by using functions of those names. And finally, we can derive a median or the top 2, bottom 2 values in the list by using sorted to order the list, as you can see we're doing on line 24. A slice of the list to get a portion of that sorted list. So that's getting us the top 3 and the bottom 3. So I should have made that the top 2 and the bottom 2 values from the list. And finally, to get the median, this is how we get the median. We calculate the middle index and then show the value from the middle index. Again, I should need to fix this. This is just an introduction, and we're going to go over each of these in turn. The main point is that by building a list, we're able to do lots more analysis on our data. And in the process, we'll learn more about the containers, how they function, and why they're important. For a set, what a set is optimized to do is to check for membership, and we can derive a number of understandings from a set. One is to see if a value is in the set. We use the in operator for that purpose. We can use sets to create unique sets of items. So if we have repeating data and we want to just get a unique set of values, we can use the set to do that. And we can also apply a whitelist or a blacklist. That would be similar to using the in operator above. We would just be creating a set that says these values are good or these values are bad, and we can use membership testing within to see if an item is a member of the whitelist or blacklist set. So this is what the containers are for. We're now going to go over each of the features for each of the containers separately, and then in the final videos we'll look at applications of these features.